I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where I break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. And today we're doing Brentford against Bournemouth. Overall, quite an interesting, fun game to watch. There's some interesting play breakdowns I'm going to show you. Bournemouth are a pretty interesting team. They're quite dangerous, to be fair. Some of their passing plays and interactions I'm going to show you in a minute. You're going to see they've worked on some things really, really well. But right here, we're going to look at the first goal with Brentford just making an horrific mistake. This goes back down to players just not really being good enough to play certain systems and playing the ball back to the goalkeeper. Now, I've harped on this if you've ever listened to any of my other videos about why this is there and how this happens through the academy, what those academy coaches are doing or not doing. Because, well, we've been doing this for over 20 years, so I know. But when this comes in here, you can see there's absolutely no danger whatsoever. None. So Brentford win the ball. It go bop, bop, and then this look right here, we've got no problems at all. Except for, here's someone that knows exactly what's going to go on and is going to score goal after goal this season from teams trying to play the ball back and them not being aware that there's a player on the high line. Now, there's a couple of reasons they're not aware of this, right? First off, most people, the way that they coach the 4-3-3, because that's what they coach, they don't have a high line striker trying to push the line back, because if they did, they would never be able to pass the ball back to the keeper if this guy here is just waiting for the back pass. If you're trying to beat any of these teams or systems in the Premier League, you'd have two strikers, one there and one there. And this striker here isn't really a striker. He's just marking their defensive midfielder. He's marking the guy that moves the ball left and right, so giving him a hard time. And this guy just sits and he waits. He doesn't press the ball. He doesn't run around. He just sits and waits for you to do something stupid and then would capitalise on it. Everybody else sits back in the defensive unit, and that's pretty kind of what they're doing, but they're not. They're doing a little modified version of that. This is a simplified version, so you can understand the tactics of what's going on here. Because when these players are under pressure, they shouldn't be going back to their goalkeeper. They should be able to return, play the ball out. You've got enough players here. You've got enough skill on the ball, but they don't do that. So when he plays this pass, you'd actually think he's playing for Bournemouth the way he's put this in. And because he hasn't looked, because he doesn't have that skill set in his locker, he couldn't see that was the pass right there. Turn, counter-attack, go down the other side. Doesn't have that ability. Yeah, it's really, really bad. It's really bad. Ball rolls in though, and now you've just got, well, to beat the keeper, and he does. But that comes from a defender not really knowing what to do. The rest of the team not really helping him out. It's like, his keeper should have been shouting, no, 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 what are you doing? This guy should have been telling him, someone's on my shoulder. None of that's gone on whatsoever, and he's played him in, by the way, it's a brilliant through ball, and off he's gone to the races. The weight of the pass back to the goalkeeper is still not good enough as well. I like this as well, because a lot of keepers miss 1v1s. Yeah, a lot of keepers miss 1v1s when they're attacking, right? Now, a lot of strikers miss 1v1s against the goalkeepers because they're trying to do something clever or shoot early. There's so much space here, right? So much space back here. This guy can run around the keeper all day long, and he does. I like that. Dukes him, goes around the keeper, and then slots it into the open goal. Yeah. 1v1 finishing isn't that hard. What it really is, it's hard here mentally. You've got to compose yourself and make the correct decision. And I'd say a good 7 or 8 times out of 10, it's to beat the keeper. I don't want to mean beat the keeper. Take the keeper on 1v1. Not try to shoot past him, because that opens up all sorts of mistakes. You can just keep running with the ball. Just run past him. He's running out at you. You're running towards him. Your momentum will go straight past him every time. But yeah, well, a good 7 or 8 times out of 10 at least. But let's get on to the next goal. So this is a long throw in, and one of the things that sort of baffled me is more and more, I can't remember where I was coaching. Every single player can throw the ball from the halfway line on into the 6-yard box, both teams. And you're just like, what? And they just don't sort of do this much in England as well. And I think it's because, especially like in America where they throw baseballs and American footballs, they can actually throw. In England, they just really can't. They can't throw a ball. It sounds silly, but it's true. You go around the world and you'll see cultures and people that have grown up throwing a ball all their life, and when they do a throw in, it's really, really easy. So it's shocking to me that people can't really throw a ball in the UK. But yeah, this guy can. He lobs it in, but I want you to have a little look as this trajectory is coming in. Look at the collection of players on the front post, okay? And you're thinking, right, that's going to be the first point of contact. So as a defensive team, we want to get it away anywhere near, but we want to really not have it fall back onto our 6-yard box. That's your movement. If you get it out for a corner, you're just as happy with that as well. But you just want to get rid of it. You don't want it just in the box, because bad things happen in the box. The second point you're going to notice straight away is look at the overload already appearing on the back post here. So if you've got too many players here, right, that means one of these players can't actually header a ball properly, because you don't need 2 players from your team going to head the ball. That means the one person that you do want to head the ball can't do the job, so you've got somebody else backing him up. Well, that's a problem on its own. And that's what ends up happening as this ball drops. You've got a bunch of Bournemouth players here. The keeper's in no man's land because he doesn't know what to do. He just doesn't treat this like a corner. When you've got those long throw-ins, just treat it exactly the same as a corner. You don't care. Couldn't care less. And the actual ease of which to defend a long throw is easier than a corner because there's no power on it. It's just a loopy, lofty ball. It actually makes it easier for the goalkeeper to come out and claim. But he can't really in this situation because there's this massive melee of players here. But right here, you've got a couple of Bournemouth players, and who gets onto it? The Brentford player does. 1v1 marking there, 1v1 marking there, 1v1 marking there, 1v1 marking there. From a Bournemouth point of view, you're quite happy with that. You're going, okay, everyone's kind of marked up. Yeah, we've got a late runner here, but hopefully this guy's free and he's tracking him. Yeah, actually, defensively, they look sound. So let me tell you, as soon as we lost this header, how they actually suck here. Next ball bounces up. Here it is. Keeper is stood watching. This is a keeper's ball all day long. He needs to come out and claim this, punch it away, just deal with it. It's really, really easy for him to deal with. This is a looping header it kind of is, up and then down to there. That's where the trajectory of this ball's gone, and he doesn't even move, doesn't even come out to challenge it. As it starts to drop, that he could have been flying out bush right there, and it was dealt with. Second point of contact. What happens? Well, tell you what, Bournemouth don't win the second point of contact. As they don't, oh, actually, I think they do. Actually, I'm completely lying there. I think he does, but yeah, I think he does. But it doesn't really matter because it's not really a decent point of contact. He just headed the ball into nowhere. And I think, again, this goes back to trying not to give a corner away. If he just blasts that out there, there's no danger. But we've had 1, 2, and now a third header inside the 6-yard box, and they get themselves an easy goal. You can't afford to do that. Yeah, and I think obviously it is the Bournemouth player here. He does have to just clear that out. I don't know what he's trying to do there. And he just knocks it to the net box. What's more frustrating is the keeper's here asking for a foul from someone for some reason. No, you need to be stronger on the front post. That header needs to be decent, and there was nobody challenging on the back post. That's 3 headers there that they've done challenge for poorly or haven't got rid of quick enough. It's not good enough. Let's get on to the next goal. Just going to show you that little clip back here. That guy is bounced on the top of his head. I think he's actually trying for the foul there. He thinks, oh, I'm getting fouled. And this comes down to a lot of the mentality nowadays isn't to actually play football. It is to try to get the foul or the free kick and not just win the ball properly. Win the ball properly, then your team's not in danger. I really like this goal from Bournemouth. It shows just quality. They play it short here. This guy comes on the overlap. He's knocking it in here. We've got 2 runners, by the looks of it, trying to exploit this space here, which is really well done. This guy doesn't understand. All he has to do is stand there, and it changes everything, really. It changes the whole dynamics. All right, look at his body shape, where he stood and how he's facing. He is facing down this way. He needs to be just facing a little bit further and facing about there, and it changes everything. And this is his shoulders, by the way. That's where he's facing. Shoulders, where he's facing, 2 yards, changes everything, means they can't make that pass. One of the other things that Brentford have kind of got wrong here, well, completely wrong to be honest, is these guys are putting pressure on the ball, right? But they've opened up that space now even more. But these guys haven't come out with them. So this space up to about, we'll say about there, because that's where their line is. They've opened up that space perfectly, Bournemouth have, because these guys have not got out the box quick enough. When these guys come out, everyone should have been coming out, making it more and more difficult for, even if you're putting that pass in there, because you're making it narrower and narrower and harder to do. They don't. They all sit in, which makes this really easy. And this is the bit of quality that I like. So normally, if you're looking at a Man City or anyone else, this guy's got the ball. As I was pointing out, these are the 2 runners into that space there. No, the guy on top of the 18-yard box, he's the runner in, and he lays it off top of the 18 so he can pick out another pass through that gap. But you see what I'm talking about with that guy? It's just wrong. He's overcommitted. He's coming too far. His body shape needed to be a little further back. He needed to be a little further back, and he would have been able to anticipate this. But this is a quality little pass in here, straight under the money, straight into the goal. Really, really well executed. It's the way that they've moved the pieces around to exactly where they want, make you think that you're coming in from the flank, and don't, and they come in straight from the middle. Absolutely well executed corner routine, a well-deserved goal. Quality finish as well. Really good, really good. This is overall just poor defending from Bournemouth here. Can you see this, right? We're looking at our line. That is our line. So that is unacceptable. So these guys need to be up here. And yes, that is important, because what's happening here is this excess space here, this guy can see, and that's where he can curve his run into. If he's doing it from back here, it's harder for the pass, it's harder for everything. Yes, those 2 yards are massively, massively important. If they cut that 2 yards out, he can't see that green space to run into, and this isn't a goal. As we've moved it on, now you can see, look, as that line is pushed forward, the players behind him still haven't reacted, and that gap there is even bigger. They're just waiting, they're queuing up now to run into that space. All they have to do is work the ball to get the pass, just to put it in there, because this guy's falling asleep and then he just hasn't got up. By the way, can they still make that run? Yeah, they can. But so the margin of error is much, much easier when you've got someone playing you on side like that. So the pass can be a little bit harder, but it's okay because he can get on. He's not going to get offside as easy. So everything can be just a little bit off. It doesn't have to be a worldy pass and a worldy run, because you've got extra space, which is extra time to receive the ball there and not be offside. All of these little tiny bits make a massive, massive difference in football, because instead of being pinpoint accurate, you can kind of be we've got an air ball in with an air run because we've got the space. And this is what I mean. He is able to get all the way up to here, because the original two that I was pointing out have backed away. This defender should have been up here, and there's no way on earth he could have been standing here waiting for the ball, because he would have been offside. But because they just kept dropping off and would not come up to here, they opened up that pocket of space. It was eventually exploited, and it's so easy for them to put the pass in, because technically what he's really doing, he's standing in an offside position, but this guy hasn't played him offside or here, because everybody else has come up to the 18-yard line. Now, here's the other part of that. So you can argue as a coach, you can turn around and go, well, these guys haven't come up and with pressure on the ball, but these guys have already come up too early. If they had stayed back, they would have cut out the space and that ball would never have been played in. It all depends on which system the actual coach is implementing on the day. Is he putting a high line and pressure on the ball? If so, these guys are correct. If they're not, these guys are correct. And that's where it's so hard when you're doing analytics on the outside without knowing exactly what they're trying to achieve, of the exact point of who is in the wrong, because there's so many things that you can go on there about. But still a good ball in. And here's the other part. Keeper's got to do better here, right? Look at where he's facing as well. Striker, shoulders are here. He's facing away from the goal. It's a difficult finish. It's really hard to turn and get it on target, let alone get it into the back of the net. And he does it with ease, and the keeper makes a meal of it. Bosh, dosh, in it goes. Yeah. I'd like to say it's a good goal, but it's not as good as the Bournemouth one where they're moving all the pieces around, coming up from the back from their up from that corner routine. Let's get on to the next one. This is a bit of creativity here, which I really do like. You're missing that in the Premier League nowadays. You don't really see this structured... you see too much structured play of people passing to A to B to C. Oh, we've done our coaching licence and we know what we're doing. No, you don't. You're just following a piece of paper and you're trying to get your team to do it. Because what they cannot defend against is when a player does something like this. Little creative step over, lets the ball run, and they don't know how to deal with it. Because it's not on the piece of paper and we didn't see that in how to deal with, creativity and skills. It's not there. Yeah, off he goes. It's a great little 1-2. Unfortunately, the highlights don't really do it justice. So this is the kiddie here that did the little step over. This is the kiddie that passed it back to him. And then he put in a worldy pass for him to run onto and finish. And the main thing about it, it's actually first time attacking play. So there's this misconcept in football that they think playing the ball first time is good. It's generally not, because you can telegraph where the ball is going to go. The only time when you're playing the ball first time is actually really good is when you're doing it and and it sounds silly what I'm going to say, an attacking point of view. And I don't mean attacking, you're trying to score on a goal. I mean like on a counter-attack type of view, where that is moving really quickly, and on the third pass is the through ball, because that's where they're going to look to try to get their shot away. If you're trying to do first-time passing around the midfield or any of that, generally it's absolutely terrible. But when you're trying to counter-attack into the space like this is the opportunity when you do it. And that's what they did here. The one guy did a step over, let the ball run to his mate, one pass straight into here, two straight down there, 3, it's in the back of the net before anybody can react. This is a good run, but it's all about the pass. This weight of the pass that's bent around here is absolutely brilliant. The striker doesn't really have to adjust his run much. He's kind of curved his run, which actually helps him because now he can finish the shot properly. But It's all about the weight of that pass. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant pass. A little bit too heavy. Keeper's going to roll to the keeper. Too soft. It's going to be on the wrong side of the defender, and the striker's never going to be able to come across to it. It's brilliant. Gets his little shot off and gets himself a goal. Well, other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.